Hi everyone, so in this video we are going to be cooking inspired by the Netflix show Makanai. I don't really know what Makanai means until I watched the Netflix show and I googled a little bit. It looks like Makanai just means home cook, and it also means the style of cooking, because in Japan we have different kinds of style, different kinds of flavor, and for you to cook like a Makanai, you have to cater to everyone living in the house. And in Makanai, the Makanai-san is cooking for Geikos and maikos from all over Japan living in a single house. So they kind of like have to cook according to some kind of a middle ground. And then I saw the Makanai-san making tomato curry, and that's what we're making. So what we do first is we're going to caramelize some onions, and I added a little bit of water for it to wilt quickly. You can also add a little bit of salt. Once it's wilted, it's going to caramelize much faster. And then the meat is soaked in water for a couple of hours, or if you used hot water, it should be ready in half an hour or 20 minutes, because the hot water just pulls out all of the impurities from the meat itself. So you know, when you're making soup, instead of getting rid of the scum, you're actually getting rid of the scum before you put the meat in. Or sometimes, you know, you can just parboil your meat or your bones if you're making this bone broth. Parboil it for 5 minutes, throw all the water out, and put new water in to make a clearer broth, so you don't have to be scumming the surface for impurities. And I saw in Makanai-san made tomato curry, so this is what we're going to make today. It's going to be inspired by Makanai-san's Kiyo-san's tomato curry. And instead of using fresh tomatoes, I decided to use San Marzano tomatoes. It's much easier and faster. We're also going to use the can to measure water. And in this curry, we're going to use golden curry. Golden curry needs 1200 ml of water. So we're going to use 2 cans. One can of tomatoes and 1 can of water. So that would give us around 1400 mLs, which is fine because sometimes the water is going to evaporate while you're simmering it. Also, I used some chunks of pork in this recipe, but if you want it to be finished faster, you can use chodolbegi, or thinly sliced beef brisket, or sometimes you can use pork belly, thinly sliced pork belly. You can also use fish if you want, but if you're gonna use fish, just put the fish in 10 minutes before you're done with your curry, or else you're just gonna end up with a fish mousse or some kind of a fish paste, because they're just gonna disintegrate, unless you want to fry your fish to make it more dense so it can hold up to all the simmering. And if you're vegan or vegetarian, you can substitute your kind of protein. You can use tofu or whatever kind of a protein you want. But if you're going to use tofu, just like with a fish, you might want to fry it until it's golden brown and hard, so it can hold up to the stew. 15 minutes before we're done with the curry, you can add your potatoes or any hard vegetables you want to add. I'm using sweet potatoes because this curry is kind of spicy. It's not very spicy for me, but it might be too spicy for you. And also, this is optional. You can add butter if you want. And then we're also going to add edamame. You can use garbanzos or whatever beans you have. And then a few minutes before you're done, you're going to have to add your curry blocks. I already seasoned this curry with a tablespoon of Worcestershire, a tablespoon of fish sauce, and a tablespoon of aged soy sauce. But the curry blocks has a little salt in it too, so it's up to you if you want to season it after you add your curry blocks, and then just adjust the seasoning to your liking, because it might be too salty or it might be too bland for you, because we all have different tastes. So this is definitely up to you. Just make sure the curry blocks are melted. It's going to take 5 minutes of slow heat. You just mix it around, because as much as it looks like a chocolate bar, it doesn't taste like a chocolate bar. So you don't want a mouthful of that curry block. Serve it on a bed of white rice and with a side of pickle. This dish transforms me back to Tokyo or anywhere else in Japan. As much as curry is not really a Japanese thing, but it's in a group of dishes that is kind of a part of Japanese culture now, along with hamburger steak, doria, and what else? Write it in the comment section below if you know any foreign dish that is now a part of Japanese culture, Japanese food. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please follow and subscribe. See you in my next video. Thanks for watching my vlog.